Hi, I'm back with another health update and a confirmed diagnosis for POTS, which is Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia syndrome. A bit of a mouthful. I had my tilt table test in Box Hill at the hospital there, and for the first half of the test I was doing relatively okay. Had some general dizziness, shortness of breath, blood pooling in my legs, and tachycardia, so my heart was racing because I was tilted upwards. So I'm strapped to a table and they tilt me upwards, and for the second half of the test they inject me with some medication that increases my heart rate even more. It's an awful feeling. I could feel it going through my body. My heart rate rises when I'm laying down. That's not natural. I hated that feeling. As soon as they started tilting me upwards, I start feeling real sick. I'm really dizzy. I'm really nauseous. My vision goes. I can't see properly. It's all black and spotty. And I'm tilted upwards. I'm pretty much hyperventilating. I had to get the nurse to take my face mask off because I needed to throw up. And I did. Several times. I was in so much pain. I'm strapped to this table. I'm all floppy because I haven't got the strength to hold myself up anymore. My body's trying to pass out, but it can't. So I'm begging them as I'm throwing up. Please stop, I can't deal with this anymore. I'm in so much pain. I lasted 4 out of 10 minutes before the cardiologist walked in and said, shut it down. We know she's got POTS. We've got all the data we need. And I spoke to the cardiologist afterwards and he said my POTS was caused by childhood trauma. And that wasn't all too surprising to me considering the fact that I also have fibromyalgia, which was also caused by childhood trauma according to the rheumatologist I saw a few years ago. And also when I had all my gut issues and I was seeing a specialist for all of that and my bloating and my SIBO, we couldn't fix the gut issues no matter what we tried. And he ended up saying to me, did you suffer from childhood trauma? To which I said, well, yes. Because of my childhood trauma, we can't fix my gut issues. I've now also got POTS confirmed, which I've had since 2014, and my symptoms have got worse since then. I've got fibromyalgia, which was officially diagnosed in 2018, but I had symptoms for a couple of years before that. My childhood trauma has essentially caused all of my health issues that have no cure. I'm just sort of in a little bit of a pickle. It kind of sucks. Yeah, so a sequence of events that happened when I was a child have essentially caused my health issues and having a major impact on my life to this day. It's very hard to come to terms with that. When you get diagnosed with a condition like this, POTS, or even fibromyalgia, or even just getting told that your health is playing up because you had childhood trauma, that is enough to send you into a downward spiral when it comes to mental health, because you go through the stages of grief. I went through the stages of grief when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and since I got diagnosed with POTS, I've been going through it kind of all over again. A series of unfortunate events. The never-ending story. Kiss, kiss. Oh, thanks. So, to other news, one of my symptoms of all of my health issues combined was hair loss. Yes, my hair was falling out. So I cut it off. I got so sick of it falling out. And it was kind of a big deal for me because I've had long hair all of my life. Hello, what are you doing? Hello. Oh, he's so cute, so cute, you're so cute, yes. Look at that face. It's been a little bit of a journey since my POTS diagnosis. I am not working anymore. I can't work at this stage. My health has just taken a turn for the worse. It's not in my best interest to return to the workforce at the moment. My situation could improve in the future. I've been trying to improve it every day. One of the things that the cardiologist told me to do after getting diagnosed with POTS was drink more water and eat more salty foods. Look, it's really hard, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really think that people who see me or anybody around me truly knows how hard it is for me. I'm not exaggerating either. And I'm the type of person, well, throughout my whole life, who will downplay things and make things out to be not as bad as they really are. Are we play fighting? We're playing fighting now, okay. I tend to laugh things off a lot. So yeah, I know I was talking about how awful my tilt table test was, and I was kind of laughing it off, but that is my defense mechanism. I seem to laugh things off to make it out to be not such a big deal. I'll just be like, but actually I hated it, and it was awful, and I had no sense of control of my body, and it was very violating. It was awful. I never want to go through that again. And here I am laughing it off. See, this is what I mean. I have this defense mechanism, and I just talk about my trauma like it was funny, and it wasn't. I'm seeing a psychologist, and that's nothing to be ashamed about. I honestly think most people should be seeing a psychologist. I'm more concerned about people who never seek mental help. That's a little red flag. If you think you're perfect, well, maybe see a psychologist and they'll tell you otherwise. And I've got little Minyip here to take care of every single day, and she is a handful, literally. But you know, life is hard with POTS and fibro and gut issues. So my decision to not work anymore is also based on my most recent work experience. It's impossible out here to find work that is suitable for me. There is a lack of work out here in general because I'm so geographically isolated. There's not all that much going on in the workforce. I've worked 3 different jobs since I moved out here, and I moved out here to support Ree in her career, which is going great, by the way, and thank goodness for that. My first job, I worked at council. Yeah, so I worked in law enforcement for 6 months. It was mostly working from home though. I figured that working from home, although it seems great, I struggle because of my POTS, now I know this, to sit in a chair at a desk for extended periods of time, but to sit for extended periods of time in general. No one's gonna really truly understand how hard it is unless they also have POTS or fibromyalgia or both. These are chronic health issues. People don't have chronic health issues. They have acute health issues. They get an injury on their knee. It lasts a few weeks maybe, and then it gets better and it goes away. Or they get sick, they get a cold, they're in bed for a few days and then it goes away and then they get better. But for me, yeah, I'm chronically ill. So there's no getting better for me. And that's really hard for people who are not chronically ill to grasp and understand, because they're so used to things getting better. But not for me. I'm not getting better. And that's also part of the issue I've had with working when I have worked, is the lack of understanding. Being chronically ill is essentially being disabled. You are disabled. These are lifelong illnesses. They don't go away. And maybe you have a chance of them improving over time or getting better slightly one day, but these illnesses, they have no cure. There is a huge lack of research that might contribute to that. It's not gonna go away, and that's what people really struggle to understand. And they might say they understand, but they don't really understand. They can't possibly. If you've ever had a really bad flu, right, and you get the full body aches, you're sore everywhere, like every muscle, every joint in your body is aching, right? And you wake up with a flu and you're feeling pretty poor, you stay in bed all day because you can't imagine doing anything else. You lay in bed all day trying to relax, trying to feel better, trying to get better, right? Well, that feeling of the aches and pains all over your body, that is what I live with every single day. I know. I live with it every single day. I do. Yeah. So I feel like that every day. It's a miracle I even get out of bed. Yeah, and POTS as well. Like, for years, I just brushed it off. Like, oh, I'm probably fine. It wasn't fine. I know. People have the ability in general to empathize with other people and imagine what it's like to be in their shoes, but they will never truly know. So for years I've had POTS, and for years I've been having issues with blood pooling in my legs, general shortness of breath and dizziness when going from sitting to standing, that sort of thing. And I kind of just brushed it off and thought, oh, that's probably normal, right? In fact, when I was studying at uni and I was having these symptoms during my 3-hour-long practical classes, I collapsed because of these health issues that I had no diagnosis for at the time. And it's not like I didn't go to the doctor, I did. It just takes years for these issues to be diagnosed or labelled. It takes a good doctor to be able to identify the patterns in the symptoms you're having as well. And unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of good doctors. Yeah, so medical gaslighting, it is a thing, it's a problem. I went to a doctor in Warrnambool whilst I was studying, and he told me, oh, sounds like you've got a lot going on. You sound like my wife. She has lots of different things going on, and it all adds up to make it look like it's just one big problem when it's really just multiple small problems all adding up. You're probably just stressed. And I'm like, look, if I thought I was just stressed, I wouldn't have come here. I'm not exaggerating when I say I'm exhausted. I feel so fatigued all the time. I can't fathom gaining the energy to do things, but somehow I still manage to get out of bed and do things around the house. It's very hard. It is very hard to live like this. It is. It's so... Thank you for matching my energy level. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's exactly the kind of support I needed. My brain fog has kicked in and I can't remember what I was saying. And I just get really confused. And it was like a joke in my family for years about how confused I am about everything. And it's just... well, there's a reason for that. Yeah, another issue with having POTS. Yeah, just going from sitting to standing up. I'm just like, I know, it's so exhausting. It really is. I get so out of breath. Even just climbing the stairs in my house, I'm just like, ah! I think about before I sit up or before I get up, is it really worth moving? I do, to an extent, force myself to do things. And I do clean the house a lot. Like, that's quite a physical thing to do, but I vacuum the house quite a lot because she makes a big mess. You do. You make such a big mess. Yes, you do. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. In one of my last jobs, I was building fences of all things. And I only took the job because I felt pressure to do something with my life. And I felt like if I didn't take the job, then I'm not doing enough with my life. And so I took this fencing job. It was hard. I did get stronger physically over time. I did it for about 3 months building fences. I learned a lot, I gained a lot of new skills, and I got a lot stronger. I was building fences in the middle of summer, which is the worst time to do it. But I'm very prone to heat stress, heat stroke, migraines, headaches. I was constantly drinking water, and I also had Powerade, so electrolytes. I don't think I would have got through most of my time there if I didn't do that. I had to make sure to eat a lot because with POTS you also get the insulin resistance, so you do get symptoms that are similar to diabetes. It was too much for me at times, and by the time I came home, most of the time I would come home, I would go straight to the couch and I would fall asleep. And that's not a sustainable job. It wasn't worth it in the end, but I also had a very difficult team leader. It was really hard to work with him because he had a very hard time providing accommodations for my health issues. He knew that I had limitations in the heat, and he knew that I had limitations physically and in general. I always paced myself at work, but a lot of the time he didn't want me to. He didn't allow me to. He always pushed me to the point that I ended up quitting my job because he just pushed me too far. He would not respect my boundaries. He did not accommodate for my needs, even though I communicated my needs with him on a daily basis. I tried to educate this man. I could not educate this man. I tried so hard. I was actually doing a really good job, and we always got the job done in the time that we needed to get the job done. If I had a bad day, or if I had a headache, or if I took one too many drink breaks for his liking, it's not good enough for him. Nobody should be put in that position. Should be allowed in general. If somebody is struggling and they need to take care of themselves so that they can continue to do a good job, you need to let them. That's one of the challenges of living with chronic illness, is a lot of the people around you expect you to function on the same level that they function. I couldn't match their level without significantly impacting my health. I ended up with migraines by the end of my shift, and it was awful, but I just kept putting on this brave face and pretending that everything's fine, because that's what I've done throughout my whole life. I'm fine, everything's fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. I shouldn't have even taken the job. So I'm having a break from looking for work, and I did try finding working from home jobs that were part-time because I thought maybe that would be better. It's highly competitive. I tried finding work like that, and I applied for work like that. It's highly competitive to the point that I didn't even get a call back. And then I tried to register with a disability employment service, but I'm not eligible to do that because I don't get Centrelink, and I'm not eligible for Centrelink because my partner earns too much. If I look for work that's not specifically inclusive in that way, I run the risk of discrimination and no accommodations made for my health, and I can't risk that again. Not after what I've been through, and what I've said is nothing compared to what actually happened. I've written articles about it. I could probably link it if you want to read what went down in my previous job. It's just too much. It's too much. I think I need help. Here I am laughing. I would love help. I'm home alone most of the time. Ree's at work. But being home alone this much is very isolating. But I do have Minyip, and she helps me a lot. I don't really talk to people anymore. I don't like driving anymore because my fatigue is so bad. And also because sitting in the position that you need to sit in to drive is very uncomfortable for me. Depending on what I do in a day, I could go to bed at the end of the day in 10 out of 10 pain. I could cry. I'm in so much pain. But I don't want to cry, because if I cry, I'll give myself a headache and then I'll be in a whole lot more pain. When I'm in 10 out of 10 pain, I can't sleep. I've got some prescription medication to help with the pain now, but it helps to an extent. It doesn't get rid of the pain. Yeah, I'm not the type of person to get addicted to medication, but I have trouble even justifying my need to take that medication, even when I really need it. I made a video recently about our trip to the Healesville Sanctuary, right? I did over 10,000 steps that day, and I don't know how I made it, honestly. I got in the car, my legs were shaking, and it's not about being unfit, because I consider myself to be relatively fit physically. I'm in good shape, and I got home from the Healesville Sanctuary. I ran a bath and I filled it with so much salt. I just poured the salt in and I just got in the bath and kind of just, I was in so much pain. And when I say this, like, it's unimaginable how much pain that I'm in for a regular healthy person who might feel pain in their legs sometimes. When I say that, it almost doesn't do it justice. Baby. Oh no, we've got ants. Love that for us. It's very hard to cope with this pain and fatigue because I know that it was caused by childhood trauma. It's very hard to live with this. It's hard to not feel like my life was taken away from me. I have no energy to do anything. I still do things. I still clean the house. I take care of Minyip. I try to take care of myself the best I can. I could use some help. I talked to the psychologist about this. She did suggest that I look into applying for NDIS, where I could get someone to help me with basic things. I don't like cooking. It's because I don't like standing up. I really mean I can't handle standing up. I can't handle standing up for very long at all because my heart rate increases because of the POTS, and I'm exhausted, out of breath, and then all my blood goes down to my legs and I get that blood pooling in my legs, and it's not a great feeling. And by the time that I have blood pooling in my legs, that's when I know I'm going to have a hard time going to sleep later that night, because that is one of the things that causes more pain for me. Been there, done that, tried that, failed. I don't have energy to do what healthy people can do. Sometimes I think if I knew that I would develop these chronic illnesses, I might not have studied marine biology, I might not have done my honours, but I guess it's a good thing that I did, because I met Ree. We moved in together and we're here now, and it's really great. So, and by me being motivated to do my honours at the time, it also motivated her to do her honours, and that's what pushed her over the edge to get the job that she's still in today, which is really good. So it was a good thing overall that I did study and I did graduate and I did motivate Ree to do the same, and we sort of helped each other a little bit through that. But yeah, since moving out here, my health has been on a steady decline, and it's not because of moving out here, it's just been doing that over the years. You know, people often say when you're diagnosed with fibromyalgia, they say watch out. Once you're diagnosed with fibromyalgia, there's often a very long list of things that come after that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, which is most likely not going to be anything like this. I'm not putting any pressure on myself to do weekly videos anymore. I'm sort of just doing them when I get the chance, and that's been working out well for me, especially now that I'm grieving after my diagnosis of POTS, and I'm really going through it. So yeah, thank you for watching, and subscribe if you want to see, I'm not going to say more of this, but some more nice stuff where you get to see Minyip maybe, and maybe some other birds. There's a few birds outside as I speak. So thank you for watching. And that's pretty much all I feel comfortable saying right now. So bye.